Coming up next is the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, where this week we look at the big return that wasn't on this past Monday's WWE Raw. A look at WrestleMania so far as it takes shape, but maybe it's not really taking shape. What else happened with the SmackDown Championship, or what is happening with the SmackDown Championship is a question as well. All that and so much more right here, right now on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius, the Tiberius, the alleged backyard, one-time knockout, straight edge, hardcore, WrestleMania-bound, hardcore hero.
Hall of Famer. Don't forget the HOF.
That's still under protest.
Bro, I've shown you the plaque. You've seen the plaque in my
No.
house.
What was you didn't hear what was revealed this morning about your Hall of Fame status?
No.
Really? It was covered on all the media networks.
I got Hogan?
No. They revealed, they found out that you had prior to being announced as the Hall of Fame inductee,
yes,
you had colluded with the Hall of Fame committee, and they then
it was a couple dinners,
but it was still collusion.
Well, I still got the ring.
It's our last show of February, and it's a lot to talk about. We were off last week, David Hero. Did you enjoy your time away?
Well, let's be honest. Tell them what happened.
That's what we do here. What did happen? Because I'd like to know.
The Russians hacked the server.
Did they?
Yeah.
Vladdy himself, or did he send his lackeys again?
It was everybody. It was the lackeys and Vladdy.
Well, let's get right down to it, folks, with this week's big story. And as a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago when we were with you last, we talked about the fact that WrestleMania appeared to be taking shape after the Royal Rumble, with Randy Orton winning the Royal Rumble matchup, John Cena getting the WWE Championship from AJ Styles. It seemed like we were indeed on the road to WrestleMania, but that road would be eliminated in the fast lane. See what I did there?
Oh,
before the big event in Orlando, Florida, come on April 2nd. Now, let's talk about the matches that we know are going to happen at WrestleMania, the announced matches for the event. Actually, it's the announced match, David Hero, because the only thing announced right now is the Goldberg-Lesnar third-time encounter that will happen in Orlando at WrestleMania. We also found out earlier this week that there will be celebrity, hosts of WrestleMania again this year. They will be the New Day.
No, they are not celebrity hosts.
They're celebrities. Superstars are celebrities, aren't they?
Talent hosts.
Okay, but you're saying the New Day is not a celebrity?
No, they rock, but I don't understand why they're hosting.
Well, why not?
They could have gotten anybody else to host.
But what? Who should they have gotten instead?
Do they not have a spot for New Day?
Who should they have gotten instead to host? Regis Philbin, William Shatner.
Sure. All of them would have been, Drew Carey.
They could have probably gotten the president to host the event.
Yes, they should have. Can you imagine how great that would be?
It'd be great for us as wrestling fans.
He won Florida, so why not be in Orlando?
That's under protest. What? Yeah, President Trump hosting WrestleMania. They could have done that.
They could have. They should have.
Maybe, I think Vince McMahon's a bit smarter than we all realize he is.
You know how much press that would have got?
It would have been a lot of press, absolutely.
I mean, he's flying the, what is it? Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. Mar-a-Lago. Anyhow. Every weekend anyhow. What's the difference?
Do you think that here sitting on February 23rd,
yes,
that we are not in the place we should be as it pertains to WrestleMania, which is some 38 days away now?
They do this all the time now. They book because they got to get through another pay-per-view. It's not like years past, many years past, where they didn't have a pay-per-view every month.
But in some cases, we're very, very on our way, with the exception of the SmackDown Championship situation. We're going to talk about that when we get down to the SmackDown report later on, David Hero, because I think WWE's exercising some brilliance in what they're doing over on the SmackDown side of things as it pertains to who will face Bray Wyatt for the championship at WrestleMania. But we've heard of a lot of rumored matchups. You've talked about them in this program. The fact that John Cena might be in a tag team matchup, which I think we saw some of that development on SmackDown as well. The fact that we know that this matchup we talked about, Goldberg versus Lesnar, could very well end up being for the WWE Raw Championship if Goldberg is victorious here in Milwaukee next Sunday at Fastlane. We also assume that somehow or another, Charlotte and Bayley are going to have another go-around, and maybe Sasha Banks is going to be involved after what we saw this past Monday on Raw. We know that Kevin Owens has turned on Chris Jericho, so what is that element? Is everything that is going to happen at WrestleMania actually sitting right in front of us, and we're looking at it, we just don't know it?
It's all right there.
Is this the way it should be?
Well, of course.
Because we're building to an event, correct? The stories are building to an event.
To build heat. That's what sells tickets.
And you don't need to announce the match before you build that heat because you want the heat to be a part of the match announcement.
They had to clean up the other storylines first, and now that they have those in check, and now they know what direction, now the fans know. I mean, why would you announce Cena and Nikki against Miz and Maurice before there's any interaction?
You could announce that one on April 1st. Then it'll be fine.
It'd be over. Oh, no, it'd be the day before.
You know, Shenanigans Saturday.
Party, yes. Which, by the way, good God almighty.
He's going to be there?
Yes.
Are you talking about Mick Foley, JR, or God?
God.
Well, you probably need to talk about some VIP treatment for him.
He told us that he's going to turn the water into wine, and there's not going to be a problem.
Are you excited? Are you excited for WrestleMania in Orlando based on what you see right now? Not the spectacle, not the event, but the content that is going to happen from bell to bell over the course of the evening. Well, as we said, I think the other matches are somewhat obvious except one. But with that knowledge and with the direction that you see things going, are you excited?
On paper, I like how it looks. From what we understand, should and could be happening.
So right now, it's a Tinder profile. Would you swipe right or left on WrestleMania?
What means what?
I don't know. I've never used Tinder before.
Well, then I can't. I have no idea.
I've yelled timber.
Yes. Well, I've seen that.
That is this week's big story, ladies and gentlemen.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's this week's Raw Report, SmackDown Report, Hot News, and the 3 Count.
The biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend is back. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Orlando. Join Nash and his friends for a huge VIP party Saturday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling at the pub at Point Orlando on International Drive to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Orlando, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now and going fast at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here on Fight TV. F-I-T-E, Fight. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and I want to remind all of you guys that if you haven't already, be sure to download the Fight TV app onto your mobile device. You can go to the website that you see on your screen right now, download the app. It is 100% free.
Free. It's a four-letter word, you know.
Free for you to download that app, get all the content from TNA Wrestling, Ring of Honor Wrestling, What Culture Pro Wrestling, and a lot of other great wrestling organizations available on your app, streaming on demand and live. That's fight.tv/PWR. And don't forget, Fight is going to be streaming some exclusive coverage from WrestleMania from Orlando during WrestleMania weekend, hosted by yours truly and the co-hostess with the mostest, SoCal Val. Will be at WrestleCon for 3 days of live coverage, several hours of coverage all weekend long from WrestleMania weekend. David, you're going to be surprised by some of the faces that you're going to see. We're going to have superstars joining us, but also some very special correspondents will be joining us, joining SoCal, you, myself, as part of this broadcast. You are... When you show up to this show every week, you are barely talent. When you show up at WrestleMania, you're going to be basically a man on the street.
Because I'm a freaking superstar. That's different than talent. I'm a main event, top draw, top of the card.
Where? What's the last house you sold out?
Blizzard Bro.
No, the last house you've sold out. I sold out Blizzard Bro. Presented by House of Hardcore.
The year before. Yeah, exactly.
Let's get to this week's WWE Raw report, ladies and gentlemen. And Raw this past Monday night, emanating from Los Angeles, California. You know, I had just left Los Angeles a few hours before Raw went on the air.
Why did you stay?
I didn't check the schedule and didn't know that they were going to be in the Staples Center on that night. Otherwise, I would have stayed. You know what? I wouldn't have stayed and I would have gone to the show. Let's be real.
You know what? Yeah, because the last time you went to a big Raw, like the one in Dallas, you fell asleep during it.
I took a nap because I was irritated by the smartness of the fans. The show wasn't fun as a result.
I know, it was not.
But this past Monday night on Raw, speaking of shows, the Nelson family member known as the Big Show got the main event matchup against Braun Strowman. A smart booking of this matchup and a smart ending as well, as Braun Strowman gets the win after a better than it should have been match between those two big men.
Braun Strowman was fantastic.
Was Braun Strowman fantastic?
You know what? Braun Strowman, with the effort he put forth on Raw, should now be in 205 Live. He was doing flips, he was doing kip-ups, he was doing rolls. He's a cruiserweight now.
David.
What?
I don't think he meets the qualifications of the cruiserweight.
He did just about every move that those guys do.
Okay, but there are certain qualifications that must be met to be a cruiserweight. Firstly, you should be somewhere under 205 pounds.
Oh, the 205 is the...
That's
I thought that was
means.
the area code.
No.
Huh.
It is 205 Live. A better match than it should have been. A match that put Braun Strowman where he needs to be going into his matchup with Roman Reigns at Fastlane.
Much like yourself,
people are not like me. They wish they were.
Criticized me for being a Braun Strowman guy. And he showed tremendous effort on Monday Night Raw.
Effort don't pay the bills.
He was in the main event. That pays the bills.
On Raw. There's 188 people who can say that they did that.
Well, right, but but not Monday. Only 2 could.
You're right.
Top guy. He's being positioned very nicely for a hell of a run pretty soon.
What's Braun Strowman going to do at WrestleMania?
What did you eat earlier?
What's Braun Strowman going to do at WrestleMania? That had nothing to do with what I ate, and it had everything to do with my irritation with you.
What's he going to do at WrestleMania? It might be Big Show again. Because there's no guarantee him and
Big Show's got Shaq, right?
No, it's not guaranteed.
I thought Shaq had some health problems.
Shaq has scheduling issues.
You sure he doesn't have health problems? I saw him in those Icy Hot commercials.
I'm positive. Yeah, well, that's a gimmick. He's just getting paid for that. But
what?
No,
you mean that's
listen, I'm telling you right now, there is a chance that Shaq and Joe may not have it.
Okay. All right.
Hey, listen, I'm just telling you what I know.
So here's my question. WWE Raw was in Los Angeles, as we talked about this past Monday night, and a very special guest star made an appearance on the show for the live audience. That man who was there to film part of a movie that he is filming just coincidentally happened to be at the Staples Center filming some content in conjunction with WWE on that day. His name is The Rock. Did they do the right thing this past Monday night with The Rock, David Hero?
Yes.
Please explain.
Well, they taped it after the show went off the air.
Rock wasn't on the broadcast, though, was he?
No, because why would no?
But why would you not use The Rock if you're WWE
because
on your air?
They have to try to elevate the other guys on the card right now. The Rock will always be The Rock. He'll always be the people's champ. Always be the top guy.
But it would have.
He'll always be pie eating.
It would have been a ratings boost, probably. It would have generated some buzz at the biggest time of the year for the company.
Maybe he didn't want to do it.
Okay.
Let's face it.
Would you have used him?
Of course I would have.
So
maybe they didn't.
They didn't. Correct.
They didn't. But think about it. He's doing a movie on the life and family of Paige.
Which I don't understand. Is there enough? What's the story there that we care about?
It's going to be a great story. Are
they going to go up to her upcoming marriage?
I don't know. Probably not. But what's amazing is the main event that they're featuring in that movie is AJ Lee versus Paige. Both aren't in favor of the company right now.
One's gone, the other is teetering.
Yeah. So they had Thea Trinidad, our good friend Thea. Mm-hmm. She plays the role of AJ Lee. Mm-hmm. And Tully Blanchard's daughter. Mm-hmm. Teresa Blanchard, I think it is.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. She plays the stunt double for Paige. So I mean, great for them. It's gonna be a cool movie, and I'm happy for everyone involved. But I was surprised that Rock wasn't used, but I understand why they didn't, because if The Rock goes up, he's gonna take up at least 12 minutes.
There would be a timing issue, yes. The Strowman show match would have been 4 minutes versus what it was. Finally on Raw, we have brand new #1 contenders for the Tag Team Championships in Enzo and Cass.
They should never beat Cesaro and Sheamus.
But
never.
They did. Your overall thoughts on Raw this past Monday night, David Hero?
I wasn't a big fan of Enzo and Cass becoming #1 contenders. Mm-hmm. I love what Strowman did. I thought Kevin Owens had a great promo.
Great promo, shot perfectly, delivered perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly executed by Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling the stories.
They are.
And that's what they got to do right now.
Sasha Banks gets a win over Charlotte as well this past Monday night on Raw and Active, and newsworthy.
You know what's funny
Raw
is
from this
no
past
one
Monday night.
complains at Charlotte and Charlotte again, or Sasha and Charlotte again, but they complain about Roman Reigns every week.
That's this week's WWE
Why are you
Raw
blowing that
report.
off? That's important.
We're out of time.
news.
We're out of time.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's this week's SmackDown report, hot news, the 3 count, and DHHS.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Damian Nelson sitting alongside
This guy. This guy.
What's your name again?
Hero. 2 R's.
Why are there 2 R's?
Because it's original.
You're the only double R hero on the planet?
Oh, no.
Thus, it's not original.
It's like the family crest. 2 R's.
Like the toothpaste?
Yes. That's why I got a $1 million smile.
Folks, let's get right down to this week's WWE SmackDown report, the Blue Show on Tuesday night, which saw the beginning of, began with the relinquishing of the Women's Championship by Naomi due to injury to Daniel Bryan. I thought it was a good segment.
Whenever the fans get what they want,
here we go.
Their champions always have to relinquish.
Are you blaming the fans for the fact that
no,
she got hurt?
But it's ironic, isn't it?
No. It's not like rain on your wedding day, not like a spoon when you need a knife. No. It's not ironic. She got injured
or no
in the
pumpkin
matchup.
pie on Thanksgiving Day.
She got injured in the matchup. I thought it was I thought it was symbolic, the words that her and Daniel Bryan had, because they both were in the same situation.
Yes.
And
so
it made
Daniel
it a sensible
Bryan
thing.
relinquished it twice. Seth Rollins had to. Now Naomi.
It was also a situation that led to a championship match being made for the night, Tuesday night, between Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. And from that, we would, of course, know that we would see a new women's champion. I'm not sure we expected it to be Alexa Bliss.
I was shocked, but she is a great heel champion to have right now. Obviously, that the SmackDown brand likes what she's doing, and she's going to be a great heel going into WrestleMania.
Speaking of the females over on the SmackDown side of things, Nikki Bella had a last woman standing match, which they smartly did call a last man standing match between her and Natalya.
Why was that smartfully?
I thought it was a good
Is that even a
matchup.
word?
What?
Smartfully?
Did I say smartfully?
Yeah.
Then it
See,
must
I
be
do
a word.
listen to what you're saying.
No, you hear morsels and tidbits. Anyways, the
love
last man
morsels.
standing match between Natalya and Nikki Bella, better than I thought they could deliver.
Well, Natalya they're both veterans.
Yes.
They both know what they're doing. I thought it was probably one of the better last man standing matches of the girls I've seen in a long time.
When's the last time you've seen a girl last man standing match?
TNA.
Wow.
Gail Kim she should be in the Hall of Fame.
She should be.
She is. Well, she is in TNA's Hall of
She
Fame.
should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
You're right. But after that matchup, Nikki Bella would be the victim of an attack by Maryse.
Why?
David Hero.
Why
did she attack her?
I don't know.
I missed something.
I did too.
She was she attacked her with a lead pipe. I thought she Nancy
Kerrigan
Kerrigan. That
What was the
attack
blonde chick's
taken.
name that attacked her?
I'm sorry.
The blonde that attacked Nancy Kerrigan?
Don't recall. She did adult films afterwards, didn't she? The blonde.
Maybe. I didn't watch it.
Why?
It's gonna drive me nuts. I don't know what her name
It'll
is.
pop up.
Yeah, tomorrow.
But right now, we're talking about Nikki Bella's attack suffered at the hands of Maryse, broken up by The Miz.
So Maryse hasn't had a match in like 2,200 years.
I think it's been more like 1,100.
And her first match is going to be at WrestleMania.
In a tag match, rumored matchup, her and Miz going up against John Cena and Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
They can make a story here, right? Miz is fantastic,
Maryse
Maryse is fantastic, John Cena's John Cena, Nikki Bella.
And this
there's a
way,
natural
John
thing.
Cena gets his receipt for putting over The Miz in Atlanta.
But here's the whole thing. The story for the last month, if not month and a half, has been Natalya and Nikki.
Yes.
Same story.
I know.
So how do you transition
Poor
that?
Natty. Well, it's because Tyson Kidd can't wrestle.
That's been 2 years.
But that's why it's not that mixed tag match.
know where this stuff comes from. Your logic
Miz and
is
Maurice
similar to what I read in
married.
Breitbart.
Tyson Kidd and Natalia are married.
But Tyson Kidd's been out for 2 years.
Right.
This story's about 3 months old.
Right, that's why they had to get rid of Natalia, because she doesn't have a tag team partner to wrestle Cena and Nikki.
So 2 years ago they were going to have this matchup, and
no.
now they're just getting back to it.
Maybe. You know, bigger picture, dude.
Bigger picture is for the SmackDown version of the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Before you go there, we got to talk about something else.
Go right ahead.
We'll end on the World Championship.
We'll end on that.
That promo the Usos cut, fantastic.
One of the best things I've seen in years.
Oh.
One of the best. It was rehearsed, but not. It was wrestling promo,
real.
but not.
It
was
was
real. And you know what? What's the key to the realness of it? When they delivered it, they were
Believable. They did.
without a shadow of a doubt.
that-
I think I watched it twice. It was so nice.
It was good. And kudos to the Usos.
What does that mean, though? They're something one. The shirts that were in the sweatshirts. Day one.
Since
From
day one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been brothers from day one. They're twins.
Hope. Yes.
That's what Us stands for, is brother in Samoan.
I'm aware.
Well, you just said, what does that mean?
It didn't say that. You're defining something that doesn't exist.
I define a lot of things.
You're using fake news as your contributor here.
Whoa, I get all my
You know, it's
news-
weird. When you say fake news, you almost can say Fox News all the same. It sounds the same, doesn't it? Fox News, fake news, Fox News, fake news, Fox
It's
News,
similar,
fake news.
yeah.
Anyways, Usos great. You're absolutely correct. They deserve to be in a
But
tag team
look,
championship matchup with
when
Alpha
they
and
first
Mania.
debuted with Tamina, and they came out as the Usos, but look how much they've grown and evolved over the years.
It took this heel turn. Well, they were great as faces, but
They
it
were.
took this heel turn to make them greater.
Yes, I agree.
And they've achieved that, folks. But again, as we talked about earlier, there was a 10-man battle royal for the #1 contendership of the SmackDown Championship. The man who would face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania for that championship. Randy Orton, not in the match. The man who won the Royal Rumble, as you know, last week on SmackDown, he relinquished his opportunity to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. So, this battle royal commences, and the last 2 men standing in the battle royal are AJ Styles and Luke Harper.
Two complete opposites.
Two complete opposites. However, they were the same when those opposites fell down to the floor at the same time, thus causing the match to be decided as a no decision, no contest. Next week on SmackDown, Harper, Styles, one-on-one. One of those men go to WrestleMania to face Bray Wyatt.
Unless
But
it's
will
another
they?
draw. I mean, I could see it being a 3-way. Then maybe you get Randy Orton involved, and now it's a 4-way. Because why would Randy Orton want Bray Wyatt to wrestle 2 guys on his own?
Let me ask you this. Is all of this a diversion and filling TV time, but in a great way, to get to Orton Wyatt at WrestleMania?
I think it's going to be a 4-way.
Really?
Yes. Here's why.
Harper as well?
Yes. Because Randy Orton relinquished it, right?
Yes.
At least on paper.
Correct.
So if AJ and Luke Harper have another draw or double DQ or double count out, then they're both #1 contender. And then Randy Orton's be like, whoa, I can't let Bray Wyatt be in a handicap match with 2 guys that want to kill him. I'll get involved in the match. And it's a 4-way. And then Randy will maybe be on Bray Wyatt's side until the very end, then RKO him to win the title.
Out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. That's what I would do.
Why not just do Orton Wyatt?
How do you get there?
I think we were there.
But it's better the betrayal than head on.
It's a better story on the night of.
Way better story.
Okay, fair enough, David Hero. Did you like the Battle Royal, though? I thought it was well executed.
It was. SmackDown is the superior show.
Superior to
Raw.
So, your thoughts overall on the SmackDown presentation, all 2 hours of it this past Tuesday?
Another great show.
Another great show. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that, David Hero. And with that, that is this week's WWE SmackDown Report.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's this week's Event Center, Hot News, the 3 Count, and DHHS.
The biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend is back. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Orlando. Join Nash and his friends for a huge VIP party Saturday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling at the Pub at Point Orlando on International Drive to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Orlando, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now and going fast at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
It's time for this week's Event Center. I'm Linda Kay. This Sunday, WWE makes its huge return to Milwaukee at Fastlane at the Primo Harris Bradley Center. Tickets are still available at Ticketmaster.com. And WrestleMania weekend, we bring you the biggest party in Orlando, the Shenanigans Party, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available at PWRshow.com. And Ring of Honor also makes its return to Milwaukee on April 28th at Turner Hall. Tickets are available at papstheater.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report.
I researched a lot of stuff
here
online.
on YouTube and Fight TV. What's the last thing you researched online that was relevant to any conversation we're having here today, David?
Dopamine.
What? Is that stuff that's in Turkey? Tryptophan?
No, kind of, but dopamine, it's like an adrenaline rush. It makes you feel good, makes you happy, makes you smile.
So why are you looking up drugs on the program here?
Because I like to be informed. And it's when
Who's on dopamine?
It's your body produces it naturally. It's like a shot of adrenaline.
Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Harrell. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you, Linda, for the Event Center. Fastlane next Sunday night in the MKE.
Wait.
At the BMO Harris Bradley Center. It should be.
Are we going to have
event.
a pre-party or post-party or something?
I pre and post party for every show I go to.
You really do. Yeah, there's no doubt. Speaking of party shenanigans.
Shenanigans, April 1st. Linda talked about that as well. Coming
at
to
the pub.
The pub at Point Orlando, right next door to WrestleCon, where we're going to be broadcasting live earlier that same day. You know, as we've talked about, and as the world knows, there's so much to do that weekend in Orlando for WrestleMania. But there's only one thing you must do, and that is the only event of its kind occurring all weekend long. Others may try, but they shall fail in their efforts. It is the Shenanigans VIP party hosted by Kevin Nash and friends. And it sells itself, right, David Hero? PWRshow.com. Get all the information, order tickets. Tickets are still moving at a tremendous pace
feverish
for that
pace?
event, at a feverish pace for that event. So PWRshow.com to get your tickets. Well, sometimes, you know, if you know the difference between cold and flu?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Well, the cold is a head cold. The flu is a stomach flu.
Well, no, not always. The flu can also be a head flu.
There's a head flu?
The difference is a flu comes on, your temperature, your fever comes on rapidly in the case of a flu.
What is the
Whereas
with the show?
when a cold, it comes over the course of a few
days. I bring up
days.
dopamine and I get criticized. I'm talking about
you said how does
body
a flu?
Illnesses?
You said how does a fever go at a how does it go at a feverish
pace? What is a
pace?
feverish pace?
I just explained what a feverish pace was. I put it in context.
Why is a fever
and then I
fast?
gave it to you. I put it in context, and then I gave it to you because I have to put it on a level by which you can
you should get some crayons
comprehend.
and paper the way you're talking to me right now.
Magenta, fuchsia.
I know a fuchsia.
I'm sure you do. Well, let's get to this week's hot news, ladies and gentlemen.
If you read it phonetically, it means something else.
Firstly, I want to get your thoughts on this specifically, David Hero, not knowing what you're going to be talking about in DHHS. And at this point, with 4 minutes left till DHHS, I'm sure you don't know either. But Bayley is the new women's champion, and we know you don't like her.
I do. She's cute. I just don't
Cute.
see her as
condescending way right there. She's cute. She's not a Shar-Pei puppy.
I don't like Shar-Peis.
She's not a Shih Tzu
Okay.
puppy.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
You look at previous women's and divas champions. Chyna, Ivory, Miss Jackie, Sable, Molly Holly.
Exclude anyone who doesn't fit your narrative, please.
Well, who am I missing?
I'm
Beth
still waiting for you to
Phoenix,
finish the list.
Beth Phoenix, Trish Stratus, Mickie James. I can't believe that Bayley could beat somebody up.
Well, she beat Charlotte up last week and became the new champion
With
on the
help,
women's side.
with
of Raw.
help.
She won. The record books show that she
I
won, not
understand,
necessarily
but
with
she
help.
still had help.
Does she go into WrestleMania with that championship?
Absolutely.
Because Mrs. Pay-Per-View has to win at pay-per-view
Absolutely, yes.
and do it on the biggest stage
Yes.
in all WrestleMania.
Notice her calling her Charlotte Flair now, not just Charlotte.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Speaking of WrestleMania weekend, the Hall of Fame is continuing to grow as more names have been announced. Last week, the Rock and Roll Express were announced as inductees into the Hall of Fame, and this week, when Thaddeus Long, Theodore R. Long, SmackDown extraordinaire, referee extraordinaire, is now also going into the Hall of Fame, joining Kurt Angle and Diamond Dallas Page. And what do you have to say about that, David Hero?
It's good to put a manager in.
What don't you like about Teddy Long?
No, I don't know Teddy Long enough. I mean, he's had a great career.
Longer than many of us realize.
Yes. I mean, back into the WCW days, and I even think back in Texas as well, with the Von Erichs. But yeah, he definitely deserves it. I just surprised.
Are you as surprised with that as you are the fact that Dutch Mantel is back in TNA on the creative end of things?
Not at all.
You talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the program. Now he has made it official.
They are bringing back everybody that was with Jeff Jarrett in the beginning. Scott
Some may view that as a bad thing.
Mantle.
Can you explain why it is a good or a bad thing?
Well, I mean, Jeff is surrounding himself with the right people, his people. But let's not forget, it's also the same group that almost went in the tank.
It's not, though. That's the thing. They had a good run during those Jarrett days.
Yes.
The big problem was Jarrett was the face of the company and the booker of the company, if you will, and there was a lot of heat as a result of that.
You know
the
what, though?
product was good during that time.
I spoke with Maria Kanellis over the weekend. She was in town.
Recently re-signed with TNA,
Yes.
her and Mike Bennett.
And they're very happy with the new ownership and management of TNA.
Well, I mean, come on. Not knocking Jarrett or anybody else. I have a ton of respect for Jeff Jarrett, but from the shit show they were in, anything is an improvement.
Well, yeah, they're getting paid on time now. They know what's going on. They got their schedule for the next 6 months.
The tapings are announced for the next 6 months as well.
But I still have issues with the way they do their tapings.
How so?
They tape over the weekends
Yeah.
and 4th of July holiday. I don't get that.
Well, I mean, remember where they're taping and
Yeah.
what's busy during that time. Universal Orlando Resort.
I guess, yeah.
Sad news to top out this week's hot news, and since we've not been with you, we've lost several superstars in the world of professional wrestling. Last week, Chavo Guerrero Sr. passing away, and then this week, 3 big names, David Hero, Nicole Bass, George the Animal Steele, and Ivan Koloff, all being welcomed home, if you will, over the course of the last 2 weeks. So, of course, our condolences go out to their family and, of course, their fans, of which we are. George the Animal Steele, David Hero.
Yes.
What great memories from our childhood, of course, of him. Ivan Koloff, what great memories of him as well. The only man to beat Bruno Sammartino in Madison Square Garden. Nicole Bass, I want to put my slide trombone in your brass section, she said to Val Venus one time on Raw. And Chavo, classic, right?
Yes.
Chavo Guerrero Sr., all over the span of about 7 days. Truly sad, but it's about celebrating their lives versus mourning their loss.
Yes, and you know, with the exception of Nicole Bass, they're all Hall of Famers.
Yeah. Yeah. None in it, though. Maybe Steele only.
No.
Ivan Koloff, for whatever reason, not in it
He's
yet.
not in it?
Not
I
in
thought
it
Ivan Koloff was.
Not in it yet. So, our condolences go out to all of the fans and friends and family of them. With that, folks, let's move on to this week's 3 count. It's 3 subjects, 1 minute each. I pitch it, you hit it, David Hero. And
I like how you change that up.
the first subject of this week's 3 count is the return of one Finn Balor, which occurred this past Wednesday night at NXT television. At the NXT taping. Finn Balor apparently cleared to wrestle, but WWE made it very clear when they announced his return on on NXT that he was not yet medically cleared.
And he did everything he normally would do in a match when he returned.
He did. Finn Balor clearly now going to be a part of the biggest show of them all in Orlando.
Yeah.
What role will he play?
I think he'll be on the NXT pay-per-view. That's how they brought him back.
But he's not NXT anymore. He's
Yes,
main roster,
no.
main eventer. He has a claim to the Raw Championship when he comes back.
Oh, so he wants to get in the ring with Lesnar and Goldberg.
That you're assuming Goldberg's going to win.
Well, I'm just saying.
Maybe he wants to get in the ring with Owens.
Well, yeah, he would rather do that.
Whoa. What do you mean? So he wants to get in the ring with
Of course he
Lesnar and
doesn't.
Goldberg.
Why would he want to?
Why wouldn't he want to?
He's a $190.
It's not the size of the dog. What about Mighty Mouse, Underdog, all of these great Jabberjaw,
They all have superpowers.
Chili Willy the Penguin?
They all had superpowers. Listen,
None of them had superpowers.
Mighty Mouse did.
Somebody flew. Maybe Finn Balor can fly, and we just don't know it yet.
Well, he would if he's in the ring with those 2 guys over the top rope.
You just called him a coward.
No, I didn't.
You did. You just called him a coward.
No, you got to pick and choose your spots.
And he may pick and choose that spot.
Okay, Brainiac.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make your return, you want to get in a triple threat with Lesnar and Goldberg?
Sure, why not?
Oh,
go big or go home.
I'm going to go home, and I'll wait a couple months until it's someone a little bit easier to beat. Do you really want to see
I want to see Finn
Brock
Balor back,
Lesnar throw Finn Balor all over the ring?
And then Finn Balor win? Yes.
Would not happen. Not a chance.
Okay. All right. Next on the 3 count is, well, we talked about it earlier in the program, but The Rock was in the ring Monday Night on Raw.
Yes, he was.
And while he was in the ring, for whatever reason, he decided to pick up his mobile device, and I thought he was checking the Fight TV app to see what was available on it. But actually, he was voice dialing one CM Punk.
I'm surprised that they have phone numbers, that they exchange numbers.
Really?
Well, the way Punk ripped on part-time guys coming back.
Yeah. But he called him, and clearly Punk got the message because he tweeted, "Thank you."
Yeah.
WWE said not to be too pleased about
Oh, there's
acknowledging
no way.
non-existent
There's no
CM
way.
Punk.
Exactly. Because he did. He called him in the middle of the ring, got 18,000 people chanting CM Punk. Thank God it was off the air. But that shows what kind of stroke The Rock has.
He said it was instinct. He follows his instincts, and he...
Well,
I mean, it was
and
funny.
Also, let's be honest, and you know this better than anybody, it's always better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
That is true. And what are they going to do, not invite The Rock back?
Exactly.
Next and final subject here on the 3 count, David Hero. Josh Barnett gets a matchup with Bobby Lashley this past Thursday night, or tonight rather, on Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
Josh Barnett still contracted to the UFC. Bobby Lashley contracted to Bellator. Both fighters, they fought on Impact. Your thoughts on Barnett being a part of this
I think
TNA
it's
Impact
great.
Wrestling?
It's a way. I mean, Barnett has
Did you
name value.
turn the music up?
It was Cal. He's jamming and smoking hookah over there. And Linda's dancing. I'll be damned. So, why does Cal have singles in his hand? It's very confusing.
He's got 5 on it.
Stop that.
What? What?
Don't tell him to tip 5s. You'll burn through so much money that way. You know that.
No, you advance beyond the other patrons by tipping higher.
Oh.
Initially.
Okay.
You don't waste as much money because you show that you mean business.
Then you're out of business in 12 minutes.
If it takes that long.
Sometimes it's 7. No, it's a great signing because of the crossover with MMA, Bellator, and Spike.
But they won't use it.
I think they will. I really do.
That is this week's 3 count, ladies and gentlemen. And now for the final leg here on our journey, let's go to this week's
Thank God.
verbal slurring
I waited
of David
34
Hero.
minutes to do this.
David Hero, DWHS, you have spoken. Well, now you will have spoken
This
after the
week's
segment's done, so you can
DWHS
speak
is
now.
all about WrestleMania. You know,
33?
Yeah, it is 33.
In Orlando?
It is Orlando on the OBT.
Why did you say that with an accent?
Because we're in Casablanca.
On Brady.
Yeah. So, in previous WrestleManias, the card has been stacked heavy on the top. But the way that they are doing WrestleMania this year, pretty much every match is going to have a main event player. You're going to have John Cena in one match. You're going to have Brock Lesnar and Goldberg in a match together. You're going to have the tag titles. You know, it'll be a big match for that. You're going to have the SmackDown World Champion in a match. There's going to be 6 matches with a top guy in each match, the way they're spreading all the way. Let's not forget, we still got The Taker and Roman Reigns. So you can have like a good 5 main events that would headline any other pay-per-view except WrestleMania. WWE realized that this may not be the biggest attendance, but I think it'll be the most star-packed WrestleMania they've had in the last 15 years. And
15?
And with that, David Hero has spoken.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, David Hero. Actually, somewhat clear, somewhat concise, and seemingly well thought out, yet I know you didn't. Thank you for those comments, and want to remind all of you to subscribe to us here on the tube of you on
this
YouTube.
Is? Boom.
You just dropped a pen on the
I
table
pen
making
dropped it.
additional noise. That's not a thing. You can't make a thing out of that. You don't. Yes, when you enter an arena, as with Blizzard Brawl this past year, that was what it sounded like. Everyone heard it when I dropped my pen to prove that you're not over.
What'd you do?
When I dropped my pen
I
to
heard
prove
something completely
you were not
different.
over. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Download the Fight TV app. That's F-I-T-E, Fight, the Fight TV app. And also be sure to join us at WrestleCon, WrestleMania weekend. Thursday night, we're going to be part of the big kickoff show featuring Jim Ross, Ric Flair,
You're
and
lying.
Sting. On Friday, we're going to be broadcasting from the floor of WrestleCon all day long. And then again on Saturday, as we do the pre-show, I guess you can call it, for the Shenanigans VIP party on Saturday, April 1st in Orlando, Florida. Also, the Feedback Friday broadcast for this week is not going to be coming to you. We need to consume your comments from this show in order to do a show for next week. So Feedback Friday returns next week here on the programs, the networks, rather.
Beautiful, baby.
The Pro Wrestling Report. So for that, with that one, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for joining us, tuning in, and we'll see you again next week.